Connor's cock jumped in his pants, but she hadn't a hint of arousal in her scent. She wasn't attracted to him in the slightest, nor had she ever been, to his knowledge. He shook his head, shoving his phone into his jacket pocket.
The early readout on the out security report detailing the riots in Falcyra.
Pasiphae nodded. They were handled swiftly, and we suppressed most of the news about them. They're nothing but salacious rumors here. Connor turned from the view and sank into one of the leather chairs that sat opposite to Pasiphae's enormous desk. She drifted to her plush velvet desk chair and wrote in her diary for a while, waiting for him to speak. The familiar sound of her pen on paper always calmed him, and she knew it. This was how it always had been with them. He handled the horrors of their rule, and she governed the public face of their endeavor to keep Okairos safe from the worlds beyond. He sighed, covering his face with his hands.
So far, it's nothing but rumors. The House of Sorath is out of control. Ducaire let nests develop all over the country. We shouldn't have allowed the Order of Night a governorship.
Pasiphae shrugged. They're our closest allies. The shifters and witches will never align with us. Giving the vampires their own country made sense, and Falcyra is isolated. Worry about handling Ducaire. Gerard Ducaire had been a problem overseas for nearly a century, ever since the House of Sorath had defected from the House of Ramil's rule. Given them Falcyra had been an experiment to see if the vampires could handle their own territory. It had seemed safe enough when Ducaire defected. After all, Falcyra was a beautiful country, but cold and nearly desolate. It was also far enough from Nitra to keep things under control in Okairos' capital city. But it had all gone wrong at this point. It was only a matter of time before the truth of it reached Nitra, and when it did, well, they weren't prepared for that. Not yet, anyway. He had to buy them some time.
I sent a legion to Falcyra this morning to impose martial law for the rest of the summer. Does that handle things well enough for you?
Connor couldn't help flashing Pasiphae a crooked grin. He'd meant to be flirtatious, but she didn't even look up from her notes. Bitch, he thought to himself. Pasiphae still didn't look at him, continuing to write in her diary. Who did you send to fix things? Not Penemu, I assume. I saw her at the gym this morning.
Rakul,
Connor said, his voice quiet. Oh my. Pasiphae finally looked up, a ferocious smile spreading over her face as her head tilted. She tossed her pen onto the leather blotter on her desk. Her luminous brown eyes shone with mirth. You are serious, then?
This isn't a joke,
Connor growled.
Everything we've worked for is on the line.
Pasiphae's eyes flashed with cold, furious power. You think I don't know that, Connor? I read the reports. Ducaire was searching out Jean I. We had the Knight's Own's master records wiped clean a month ago, after the incident with the Eastons and your son. Mark Easton, Harlow Crane's ex-lover and an incubus, had been killed in the House of Ramil's basement on the night of the Solstice Gala. It had been a nightmare to clean up, and the boy's father, Elaine, was still on the loose. All evidence pointed to the fact that he, too, had been turned into an incubus. Failure after failure had plagued Connor ever since the Krane girl had re-entered his son's life. She would serve her purpose soon enough, though, and then they could be rid of her once and for all. Connor shook his head.
And yet we still haven't found Elaine Easton, and there are riots in Falcyra. Sending Rakul was the right choice, and I'll bring him back here to handle things if need be.
One of Pasiphae's eyebrows arched dangerously. She'd made her opinions on Rakul's methods clear time and again, allowable for handling things in other countries, but not here, not in Nitra. This was their home. You don't get a say in that, Connor. I say what happens in Nitra.
Of course.
Connor gave in immediately. This separation of power was a vital part of their agreement. It kept the peace, and despite what people thought of him, that was the most important thing. No wars, no poverty, only blessed, peaceful order. I see on socials that your son and his betrothed have been making quite the splash in Nea Sterlis.